Hello, everyone, and welcome to match number 5 from the Glimmer Gauntlet. In today's match, we have Jacob running Sapphire Steel, the Sapphire Steel Ink combination, versus Sky. Sky is running the Ruby Sapphire Ink combination. Hello, good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is, wherever you're watching this from. My name is Dan, and I'm joined, as always, by my partner in crime, Jim Morgan. Jim, how's it going today?
It's going pretty well. I'm not going to lie.
All right. Well, Jim, it's always good to see you. And you know what, guys? I'm excited. We are excited to get started in the Glimmer Gauntlet. So, as we mentioned earlier, this is match number 5. These are some interesting ink combinations, Jim. And so we've talked about the rule set. If you are unfamiliar with this tournament, each player was given a certain ink combination, and they were tasked with building the best deck that they could, with this stipulation: you can only use up to rare, so they cannot use any super rare cards or any legendary cards. So knowing that, Jim, and with these ink colors, what do you expect to see from these colors, man?
I mean, we have the popsicle set up with the Flaversham, the popsicle. And do we have access to the Nick Wilde?
Yeah, we do.
You know,
do you think we will see Nick Wilde?
I think it's a possibility.
I think it's a good possibility. In all honesty, if any player was given Sapphire, I'd be very hard pressed for them to not put that in their deck, to be quite honest with you. It's a huge value engine, and I'm really interested to see what these decks are going to look like, especially in these colors. So, you know what, guys, if you've been following this at all on Twitter, you know these players have been talking up their decks and really the decisions that they had to make in building these decks. All right, well, I'm excited to get this match going, so without any further ado, let's get going. And so again, we've got Jacob and Sky. Jacob won the die roll, and without any further ado, let's just get into the match. All right, so here goes. So Jacob currently is deciding what he's going to ink on turn number 1. Ink Let It Go, so we see Let It Go, and no turn 1 play.
Can't believe he just let that go.
He did just let that go. Yes. Jim, that joke will never get old.
Yeah, I know. It's great. I love it.
And honestly, when they put it into the inkwell, that's the perfect time.
Uh-huh.
All right, so we see a vault door getting put into the inkwell from Sky, and there it is. There's the turn 1 popsicle. Honestly, a turn 1 popsicle is
that the best thing you can do on turn 1?
It's one of the best things you can do. All right, so that's Sky's turn 1. Now we go over to Jacob. So Jacob is deciding what he's going to ink currently. So we don't have much information. There's Flaversham. So we see Flaversham going into the inkwell. Tapping 2 for Mr. Smee. All right, so that is a very good turn to play. Now, we're going to be interested to see Jacob showing Sky what Mr. Smee does. So Mr. Smee, new card from Into the Inklands. Mr. Smee is a 3/3/2, 3 strength, 3 willpower, 2 lore. For only 2 ink, a very good stat line for the body. However, he does have the stipulation: if at the end of your turn Mr. Smee is exerted and you do not have a captain in play, he is dealt 1 damage. So in Steel, I know we have a lot of captains, got a lot of different captain hooks. So there's definitely ways, especially in this blue Steel ink combination, of maybe there's not a captain, but there's definitely ways to give him resist as well. All right, so over to Sky, we see him ink a Maui. And he's tapped 2 for, oh boy, we've got a Simba. Jacob is not very happy in seeing that.
No, not at all. Game's starting to go fast now.
Yeah, so we see Simba, Scrappy, Cub, another new card from Into the Inklands. So Sky's got a pretty good board set up. Now, again, Jacob does have Mr. Smee. Now we see him ink a McDuck Manor. And now we see, a Hercules. Hercules from set 1. All right, so Mr. Smee is questing for 2. So Jacob is up to 2 lore. And now Mr. Smee is going to take 1 damage. at the end of this turn because there is no captain in play. But you know what? If I'm Jacob, I think I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah, I mean it's perfectly fine. He's still able to swing into the Simba, and sure he's going to RIP, but I think that's perfectly fine.
Yep.
You're up a little bit of lore, still close to finishing the game or in the early stages, and even if he wants to then swing with the Hercules into him, he's still going to have a whole nother turn with the Mr. Smee to get value on the board.
Right. Right. Now, would you prefer to swing in with Mr. Smee, or would you swing with that Hercules there? If we see so we just see it looks like we saw him ink a caterpillar if I'm not mistaken. Oh my goodness. All right. Sky's off to the races. So Sky has quested with Simba. So it is now 3 lore to Jacob's 2.
And to answer your question, yes, I think you swing with the Hercules here.
So yeah, the Hercules, yeah. I mean, there's no downside to do
Yeah,
it that way.
you are not racing this right
No.
now. It's not happening.
All right, so we see Jacob now put down ink another Hiram. So that's 2 Hiram Flavershams into the inkwell for Jacob.
Very key card.
Ooh, McDuck Manor. All right, so McDuck Manor, new location from Into the Inklands, probably one of the best 4-drop locations. And there it is. So we see Jacob. He did exactly what you thought he was going to do
Yeah,
there.
he had to.
Yeah. There's real you cannot let that get out of hand. And Jacob is off to a really good start here. So he quests again with Mr. Smee. Mr. Smee showing a lot of great value already. So Jacob's got a really solid board state here. And so now the pressure is on Sky to, I mean, we are looking at 5 lore potentially next turn for Jacob. So we've got a really good, Jacob has a really, really solid board.
You know, even if the Mr. Smee is thrown into the banish zone from his own effect, I think that's still perfectly fine value because now he'll be going to the 6 total. But if he wants to keep it back to give them that extra board presence, or if he comes out with a captain, it's going to be a huge turn for him.
Yeah, and we saw on Sky's last turn, he put down his own McDuck Manor and then quested with Simba. So Sky's really off to the races here. So
I was not expecting to see a red-blue aggro list here.
Yeah. Oh, and
there it is.
And now we see John Silver. There he is. So John Silver, another new card from Into the Inklands. So Jacob showing Sky what John Silver does. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, John Silver, a great card from Into the Inklands. He's an inkable 3 cost 3/3/1. He's got a plethora of classifications on him, but basically he gets more lore and resist plus X depending on how many locations you have in play. So right now Jacob has that 1 location in play. John Silver has 2 lore and resist plus 1. And look at that. Look at there. We have John Silver in play with Mr. Smee. Mr. Smee not taking that final 3rd point of damage. That was a huge turn. So we just quested for 2 with Mr. Smee, 1 for Hercules. So it looks, I believe Jacob is up to 9 lore, I believe.
Yeah, because he gained the 5 and he was previously at 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, all right, so goes over to Sky. Sky goes up to 8 from McDuck Manor. But look at the board states here. Look at the board states here. Jacob is in a commanding position.
He has no problem racing here. He's not really worried about the McDuck's little location.
Right.
Gaining him passive 2 lore every single turn because he has his own to counter it.
Yep.
And he has creatures on board to then even win the race faster.
And I don't even, it doesn't even look like that Jacob's McDuck Manor has taken any damage at this point. So Jacob has got to be sitting pretty well right now with this board state. All right, so we see, I believe that was another caterpillar, if I'm not mistaken, being put into Sky's inkwell. Sky counting up how much ink he has. We see him tap the 3 here. Exert the 3 ink. What are we going to see here from Sky? Sky still deciding what he is going to play. Are we going to see another Simba? Are
Let
we
him
going
cook,
to
Dan.
see...
He's cooking.
He is cooking. I know I would be if I was in that position. All right, we see Shere Khan, menacing predator. All right, on this board state, it's an interesting play, and I would be interested to see what is in Sky's hand right now. That'd be very good information. But Shere Khan, a great card, especially when you're on the offensive and trying to take out your opponent's things. And this is really good, I think, for this board state, particularly for Sky to have Shere Khan. So we go over to Jacob. Jacob gains that 2 lore from McDuck Manor, so he is at 11. Ink a 3rd Flaversham. Wow. That is crazy.
What good is the Flaversham if you don't have the items for it?
That's true. That's true. All right. And we see the Hercules not shifting, just for lack of a better word, hard casting that Hercules. Jim, I know you really like this Hercules, don't you?
Yeah, it's kind of surprising how good this card is. And I did notice before Into the Inklands came out, a lot of people started to play him a little bit more. And he's just really able to take out those aggressive decks. Mm-hmm. Phenomenal.
All right, so it looks like we're all the way up to 15 now for Jacob. I believe I miscounted there last turn. But we're up to 15, it looks like, for Jacob. And Jacob, again, in a commanding position. I'm not really sure what, at this point, Sky can do to get back into this game. Wow. I mean, Jacob did go first, but I'm not really sure how much that did in this match. Because again, if we look at the bodies that the characters that were played on Jacob's side of the board versus what was played with Sky, we saw those 2 early Simbas, which were threatening a lot of lore, which they did gain, but then were subsequently taken out very, very quickly.
And that's really the downside with cards like that. They're really easy to take out, but they can end a game fast if it gets out of hand.
Right. All right, so we see the Maui come out from Sky. So down goes Hercules. Now, with that as well, Sky does gain the 1 lore.
Yep.
All right, and it looks like that does it for game number 1. Jacob takes game number 1, so it is 1 to Jacob, 0 to Sky. And as players get ready and shuffle up for game number 2, we'll be right back. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are at game number 2, and again, we go to Sky. We see a turn 1 popsicle. What are the odds, Jim? What are the odds?
I mean, for myself, not very high, Dan.
You know what? I think I'd be right there with you. So we go over to Jacob. We see him ink a Hercules Divine Hero, and there's a captain. We got a captain. Captain Hook, Forceful Duelist on turn number 1.
Are we going to see a turn 2, Mr. Smee?
Mr. Smee? Is
this the greatest on-curve plays you can do? Maybe?
Well, to be honest, I think in any kind of pirate deck, if you see turn 1 Captain Hook, turn 2 Mr. Smee, turn 3 John Silver, I mean, that would be a curve. That would be a good curve. And we almost saw that last game, too. But it was I believe, if I remember correctly, I think we saw Mr. Smee turn 2. I don't believe we saw John Silver until turn 4, I think. It was either turn 4 or turn 5. It might have been turn 5.
Yeah, I believe it was correctly. 5, because he did play the Mixed Scrooge manner.
Yeah, the Mixed Scrooge manner.
The Mixed Scrooge manner.
There we go. I like that, Jim. All right, so over to Sky. Looks like we are... I did not see what he inked there, but tapping 1 for another popsicle. Wow, we got
this
2
guy's
popsicles.
deck's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, turn 1 and 2 into a popsicle is Sky. Sky is gotta be feeling really high up in the sky right now with those 2 popsicles. And honestly, if nothing else, just for that card draw. So all right, and so now we see. One of an interesting card from set number 3, Cloud Kicker. This is the 1 mana 0/1 with Ward. Are we going to see the shift kit Cloud Kicker?
I feel like it's about that time.
I think it might be, especially in this kind of format. All right, so now we go over to Jacob, and we see him drop Motunui. Let's see if I'm gonna see if I can pull that card up here real quick. But so Motunui, a new location from Into the Inklands, basically giving all your cards on board when they are there. If they are exerted, excuse me, if your characters are banished while at this location, they may be put into your inkwell, face down, and exerted. Very on theme for the Sapphire color. There it is, Jim.
Oh my
There
goodness.
it is.
You know, the cards a lot of people have been trolling over, and you know what? I feel like he's going to be in a really good spot in a format like this.
Yeah. And right now, all Jacob has on board is a Captain Hook. Now, if memory serves, I believe this Cloud Kicker is a 2/6, a 2/6/3. So if Jacob were to challenge into this Cloud Kicker, we would see the Captain Hook be banished.
He's a 2/5/3.
2/5. Okay, so 2/5/3. So he's already quested for 3 off of that. So Sky is up to 3 lore. There is the challenge. All right. So we now have 3 damage marked on Cloud Kicker. Now, this game going very similarly to how game number 1 started, with Jacob getting Sky getting off to that quick start with those Simba's Scrappy Cubs from game 1. Now he's getting off to that quick start with Cloud Kicker. But with these, now we're seeing it here, with those popsicles on board, able to heal some of that damage on Cloud Kicker.
Now, it does seem like a weird turn to just attack with the Captain Hook, because we did see that he had the popsicles, but he forced him to start getting rid of the popsicles so he doesn't get that card advantage off of Flaversham later on in the game.
Yeah.
So I think that was actually a really smart play to do.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Yeah, so maybe we just see, we might see that coming from Jacob, is to just force that usage of those popsicles. That way, Jacob stays up on card advantage potentially. That's a really heads up play. Very nice, Jim. I honestly didn't even really think about that.
That's why they paid me the big bucks, Dan.
It is why they pay you the big bucks. All right, so I believe we are back over to Sky. Looks like Sky's mulling over what to do here in a, I don't want to say commanding position, but he is up on lore currently with 3-1, I believe.
I'd say it's still pretty even right now in terms of board presence.
Right, because the thing is, with John Silver, we did see Jacob drop that John Silver. He's threatening for 2 lore as well. And now we see all right, so we see another Simba Scrappy Cub from Sky, as well as a Felicia. So Felicia, let's see if I can get her stats right. She is an inkable 1 costed 3/1 with Reckless 3/10 potentially.
That sounds about correct.
I'd have to look at that, but that was a very good turn for Sky, especially with the location and John Silver on the board for Jacob. Oh boy! All right, this is this is the power. Here's the power of John Silver. John Silver now a 3 strength, 3 willpower, 3 lore. 3
and
lore.
It has double resist.
8 plus resist too.
And it takes no damage from the Kit Cloud Chaser.
Wow. Wow. That is very, very good for Jacob here. Even though we see a very good board on Sky's side of the board, now Jacob has a very interesting decision. Do you challenge into that Cloud Kicker knowing that he has another popsicle? Force him to use that.
As powerful as the Felicia is for the 1-drop with that dealing 3 damage, now with the resist 2, it turns in from this really fierce kitty cat to this real tiny kitten.
Yep. And right now, I don't believe John Silver is at any location, right? But that doesn't matter much for John Silver himself as a card. But man, Jacob has some interesting decisions to make here. I can almost guarantee you he's determining, do I swing into Kit for Sky to pop that second popsicle, or do I just quest? All right, so he does decide to challenge. Jim, in that position, look, Jacob has a hard decision here. Not sure if he's even questioning himself there. Do you think that was the right call?
I don't think it was a bad call because he's trying to grind out the game a little bit and just get the value off of his locations to win the game.
Right.
To force him to now pop both of the popsicles, he's not going to be having the Flaversham. And now if he go ahead and quest with the Kit again, he's going to be able to take him out with the Captain Silver. That's his name, Captain Silver.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing here is, so Sky decides to challenge into John Silver. He doesn't necessarily have to challenge into John Silver.
Yeah.
She could use...
He actually does have to challenge every single turn if able with Reckless.
Right, but the question, you could challenge into a location.
True.
You could challenge into a location. So I think the players currently are talking about that. But again, and we see this here, right? With that resist 2 with John Silver. Now this game is really starting to get more into the hands of Sky now with that McDuck manner. So now Sky quests for 6. So he is up to 13, I believe. I think he might be up to 12. It looks like it's 13 on Sky's board. Again, I might have miscounted there.
So he is representing lethal.
If he's at 13, yeah.
But he will be taking out either the Kit or the Simba.
Right. Again, this John Silver is providing so much value for Jacob right now. And so we see the Hercules come down. Jacob is deciding bodyguard stance activated, gaining the 3 lore from the locations. So Jacob should be at 5 currently. Jacob deciding here what to ink. Wow, another Flaversham into the inkwell for Jacob.
Is he even playing popsicles in his deck?
You'd think. All right, so Jacob decides to finally take care of that Kit Cloud Kicker once and for all. But again, we are just seeing the absolute power of John Silver.
He's getting so much value off of this.
But
I'm not sure exactly how well it's going with the race for him.
Yeah. This is a very grindy matchup.
So he's about to go to 17, which as long as he plays a creature that just can't be taken out, let's say the 1-drop Kit, right? He has Ward, and if he's not able to take out that location,
plus if he's able to
into it again, it's just over. We're in the end game now.
We are in the end game. But in all honesty, I think this match really it's kind of in anybody's favor right now. This can go anywhere. This game still can go anywhere. Oh, we see Evil Queen and Peer. Oh, there it is. There's a. It looks like that's about it. I think this game is just about over and done with. Sky questing with the Simba to 17. And he is representing lethal on board. Goes over to Jacob.
He does have 1 out here. He did not get it.
He did not get the out there. All right, so players are going to shuffle up. We're going to go on to game number 3. Sky takes game number 2, a really well-played game number 2. And we'll be right back as the players shuffle up and get ready for game number 3. All right. Players are ready. Welcome to game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. All right, this is it.
This is where champions are made.
This is where champions are made. We see Jacob drop his turn 1 popsicle. There's the popsicle from Jacob. And do we see it from Sky? Do we see the turn 1 popsicle from Sky here? There it is.
Wow,
All right.
all 3 games.
All 3 games. See, Sky got the popsicle all 3 games. We got the Popsicle Brothers here. All right. All right. Moving over to Jacob. Now, before we get too much further, this is going to be a good time for us to mention, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check the bio down in the description for a link to the charity for this event. Each player is playing for a specific charity. If you want to learn more about that, don't forget, check the deck list, the description, the link down in the description below where you can find more about that. All right, again, we see a turn 2 Mr. Smee from Jacob. Are we going to see a turn 3 Captain from Jacob? Because we saw how much value we got from Mr. Smee in game number 1. Jacob's got to be feeling really, really good at about this time. I know I would, to be honest. All right. Yeah. Sky is, I don't think Sky's very happy to see that body back on Jacob's side of the board. Again, this is really a good first two turns for Jacob. Jacob's got to be feeling very, very good with that turn 1 popsicle into Mr. Smee.
The Mr. Smee 3/3 body questing for 2. It's so difficult to not only race that, but also just get rid of the card.
Especially in a format like this. Especially in a limited format such as this. Oh, we see, oh boy. All right, we see that 1-drop kit again from Jacob. Jacob really doesn't want to see that Cloud Kicker again. All right, so we go back over to Jacob, deciding what to ink here. We see the Beast Smear go into the inkwell for Jacob, tapping 3, 4. There it is. There's John Silver. Wow. Jacob has got to be feeling very, very good here. Questing for 2 with that Mr. Smee, not taking any damage now. That's a very, very, oh, wow. This is a great sequence in place for Jacob. I mean, Jim, you see a board like that, what goes through your head if you're the opponent?
You know, it's kind of scary for him because even if he plays the shift kit, he still has enough damage to go ahead and take him out on board. And none of his characters are gone. He's still going to have his board presence.
Mm-hmm. So we see Sky ink a Noi Orphan Thief. So one thing Sky has got to be thinking about here is if Jacob is going to drop another location when it goes to his turn, because that would be very, very scary, because that's going to be a lot of lore on Jacob's side of the board. All right, there's the kit. So we see the shift kit from Sky. So Sky most likely going to quest for 3. There we see it. Now again, just like we saw in game 2, Sky does have access to that popsicle, but with kit exerted, we can see Jacob does have the opportunity and ability to completely take out and banish this kit Cloud Kicker.
And he has the popsicle.
He does. To heal. Oh wow, this is gonna be. I mean, if we see a location, there it is. There's the location. I mean, this is not looking good for Sky here. Moving Mr. Smee over to Motunui, and now we have both John Silver and Mr. Smee at Motunui. This is not looking very good for Sky here. We see him go into challenge into Kit, and there it is again with John Silver. There goes Kit. All right, now the question really is now here's the question, Jim. You do have access to popsicle here for Jacob. Do you think he pops it now or just holds on to it?
We haven't seen anything coming from Sky to just deal 1 extra damage, and with being in those colors, it's going to be a little difficult. And honestly, I don't even think you mind, because now Motunui is going to go ahead and give you that extra mana.
That's true. Already I think we're on turn 4 now. Jacob in a very commanding position. He has 1 location, 2 characters on board. We don't really see anything on Sky's side of the board right now. Counting out how much ink he has access to, we see him drop a Shere Khan. On an open board, there's a second popsicle. So Sky is going to go ahead and draw an extra card there off of that popsicle. But if I'm Jacob, I'm feeling very, very good about that.
In such a good spot right now.
Very, very good spot. We see him gain that 1 from Maltanui. That does put him at 3 lore. Now, I'm curious, are we going to see another location? Because if we see another location, that's just going to get so much value from that John Silver.
Yeah. I think there it is. I think it's about to.
There's the Flaversham. Oh, man.
Is that even better? Maybe.
That might even be better. Now that card advantage, we see him looking at all those cards in his hand. Wow. Man, if I'm Sky right now, I am not feeling very good. Oh boy. And there's the other popsicle. Wow.
Does he heal?
Wow.
Does
he heal or does he just go out?
I think here I would go ahead and choose to heal the Smee.
The problem though is Shere Khan is a 3/3.
I think that's a fine trade.
Well, right. But what I'm saying is then I'd hold on to that popsicle. Because I'd hold on to the popsicle, force the trade. Because again, like you mentioned before, Jacob does have access to that Maltanui, where those cards now can get into his Inkwell. So, question here is: are we going to see a Maui hero to all from Sky's side of the board?
There's a possibility. And then he'll be able to take out both the Smee and also the John Silver.
And gain 2 lore. But again, if we see that though,
then we're going to go back to Jacob. He's going to go ahead and quest.
And he's up 2 more ink now. Wow.
Yep. He's going to draw 2 cards off the Flaversham.
Off the Flaversham. Mm-hmm. Sure, that might get taken out if we see another Maui on board, but I'm okay with that because now I'm just drawing 2 more cards. At that point, Flaversham would have drawn me 4 total cards off of that interaction, and I'd be very okay with that. So right now we are looking at Sky deciding what to do, what to ink, counting out his ink right now. See him ink a McDuck Manor, probably the best place to put that card right now is you need to develop a board. We see a Simba Scrappy Cub for 2, and airs a Caterpillar. Believe Caterpillar is a 1/3/3. I believe. Again, I'd have to check that stat line, but I know Caterpillar does quest for that 3 lore. All right, so Sky deciding not to put Shere Khan in harm's way, which is typical from that card.
And I believe Jacob is at 8 lore currently.
Yes.
So, man. Yeah, this is a really good spot for him.
Is that 8 or 3? I thought I had him at. Oh wait, did he? Oh, he quested last time, didn't he? Yeah, so 3. Oh my goodness! If we see another, Jacob is just in such a commanding position right now. Even though Sky did develop a lot of lore last turn, so now the question is for Sky is can he race? That's the question, because Sky can win that lore race, but right now, Jacob is just so far ahead on cards. He's got so much more cards in hand, and now we see him quest with Flaversham to pop the popsicle to draw 2 more cards, and he has just got an absolute full grip right now. Absolute full grip.
But honestly, this game is still not over for Sky at all.
No. He's, again, like I mentioned, he's got a lot of lore on board that he's able to develop. And now with that Shere Khan as well, we did see him ink a Queen of Hearts Imperious Queen, or Impulsive Ruler, I believe.
Yeah, the Rush.
With the Rush. So a lot of low-costed Rush characters can gain you that lore very, very quickly as well. So we see Jacob ink another Mr. Smee. All right, and what are we going to see here from Jacob now? We know we've seen McDuck Manor. We know we've seen Matsunoe. Are we going to see another location? Are we going to see a steel location? Because all the locations that we've seen from Jacob so far have been Sapphire locations. Interested to see if he runs any of the steel locations, or do we see a map of Treasure Planet? Would be an interesting. That would be an interesting one for this list because again, you do see the Flowersham, right? To able to, if you don't need that anymore, let me go ahead and pop it.
Sure.
I just keep wanting to say pop it, with a popsicle.
Hello, Poppet.
Hello, pop it. Speaking of that, I would really love to see some Pirates of the Caribbean cards.
That'd be great.
Are we going to see it? Are we going to see those in the future? Who knows?
I got a jar of dirt.
Yeah, the compass. I would love to see the compass, man. There's a lot of great stuff there. Oh boy. And there's the McDuck Manor. And currently Jacob has two characters at Maltanui. Gonna see him tap 2 more or exert 2. Oh my goodness. Right now, John Silver quests for 4 lore. Questing with Mr. Smee.
Should he be 1 higher? Because he was at 9. Oh, no. 9 to start his turn.
That should be, yeah. And so now he should be up to 15. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He just quested up to 15. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
But wow.
Yeah.
Right now, John Silver currently 3 costed, 3 strength, 3 willpower, resist +3, and he quests for 4 lore. That John Silver is such a phenomenal card. Wow. This has been a very interesting set of games here. And at this point, I mean, I'm not really sure Sky is in Ruby. Do we see Dragonfire? But again, right now, if it goes back over to Jacob's turn, he's gonna gain 2, 3, 4 lore. He's gonna gain 4 lore just from the locations themselves.
Yeah.
Wow. This has just been this has been a good match.
Yeah.
This has been so fascinating. I'm not really sure what. Now let's think about this. Like, what are the outs? Okay. I mean, if you drop Dragonfire, if you're able to take out John Silver, because right now that's the problem. John Silver's a huge problem, and the only thing that you can really do is hard removal. So you have to hard removal that. So if you take out John Silver, now you still have 3 locations left to deal with, and McDuck Manor has 9 toughness, willpower, and oh my goodness, and then
Maui will still be able to take him out because he does have the 1 damage on him, so he'll still be able to deal 6.
Yep, you could do that, but again, I think right now.
The Simba takes out Smee. It's not a great position. He'll still be gaining some lore.
Yeah, but he's still gaining 5 lore next turn.
Yeah.
With the Flaversham.
Yeah, true.
Because again, right now Jacob has 4 lore with the locations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're able to. I don't think Sky can really do much there. Sure, he can gain lore with Shere Khan. I mean, he does have.
He does have 5 ink, so it's not like we can see a be prepared here. I'm not even sure if he's playing it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Would you play it in an aggro style list? Probably not.
Yeah, maybe not. So we see the Maui. I think right now Sky's just really trying to determine, can I do anything to disrupt this? Can I even give myself another turn? Because again, so we see the Maui. Maui could take out John Silver.
There it is.
But there it is. Players both deciding that is it. Those were some very, very well played games, but that's it.
That was a phenomenal game 3.
Jacob takes game number 3, and look at that.
And he was playing the steel
Jacob
location.
Is showing, and here comes Zeus.
Here comes Zeus to let it go.
Wow. These are some great games. Absolutely well played. But Jacob takes this match number 5. 2 games to 1. Congratulations to both players on some well fought games. Man, Jim, after those matches, I mean, John Silver is a beast of a card. I mean, you and I have talked pretty extensively about John Silver
Yeah.
as a card. In those matches, I mean, to me, John Silver is a card that stands out in my mind. What about yourself?
Yeah, he was super huge in this whole matchup, really. In the was it game one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in game one, or sorry, game two. In game two, he was able to really control the board heavily.
Heavily, yes.
Heavily. Sure, he did end up losing that game, but the power that John Silver was representing on board was crazy.
It was absolutely
The
crazy.
scalability, and now we just saw even in this game the resist 3, which is huge.
I mean,
Quest for 4.
and that forced Sky to make so many hard decisions.
Yep.
Is what is he to do? Again, John Silver was just demanding that hard removal, and Sky just didn't have it, unfortunately, until it was too late. But in all honesty, John Silver, even combined with Mr. Smee,
Yeah.
oh my goodness,
Phenomenal pairing.
it was
Phenomenal.
such a great pairing. And we've talked about, again, the power of just Mr. Smee. I mean, look at that body. He's a 3/3/2 only for 2, and it is not hard at all, like we talk about, to circumvent that if you don't have a captain in play at the end of your turn and he's exerted deal of damage. Well, we saw
Real easy to play around.
every single game, I believe, we saw John Silver come into play for Jacob. These were some phenomenal games. I mean, I think both of these players did a very great job building these decks. The card that, in all honesty, I kind of want to touch on a little bit is Shere Khan. Shere Khan is an interesting card. I really, really do like that card. But it's one of those cards that, and we saw it here, it does tend to just stick around, and it wants you to just challenge with other things to gain lore. And we saw it here. It just wasn't doing much, and you need your characters to help control the board. So well done by Sky in this match. Well done again by Jacob. But yeah, in this matchup we see Jacob with Sapphire Steel taking down Ruby Sapphire 2-1. All right. Well, again, as you probably have seen, should be showing the deck list on screen for you all here today. And don't forget, guys, check down in the description below. Look for a link to the charities. If you can find more information about the charities that each of these players are donating towards if they win. So you can find more information about that down below in the description. But again, Jacob taking this match 2-1. I had a lot of fun watching this one. This was a really, really
That was
great
an amazing
match.
match.
It
Amazing.
was well played by both players. I think, again, Jacob curved out very, very, very well. But this is another one where we see the power of these locations. And I think we weren't sure how these locations were going to shake out.
True.
This tournament, though, like this match, this really showcased the power, not only of the locations, but what you can do with a card like John Silver.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, don't forget, you can check again that donation link down in the description as well. You can check the deck list images as well down below. Don't forget as well, you can follow the bracket for this Glimmer Gauntlet. If you've submitted one, awesome. But if you haven't, you can check the bracket down below to check how well maybe your favorite content creators are doing. And again, don't forget as well, there's a lot of stuff down in the description, ladies and gentlemen. As well, down below, you can find where to find each of these players. Jacob with Ready, Set, Draw. Sky, a great artist as well. You can check all of their information down below. And you can find us. We are Dan and Jim from Hobbies and Happiness. You can find pretty much, again, all of our content here is on YouTube at youtube.com/hobbies and happiness. So that's it, Jim. What Jim, what is an overall thought that you have watching this game here, man?
It was mind-blowing, this match.
It really was.
100%.
It really, really was.
It was super back and forth throughout the entire match.
Mm-hmm.
It was I can't say anything more, honestly. I'm at a loss of words.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun. Congratulations again to Jacob from Ready, Set, Draw. All right, thanks everyone for watching this Glimmer Gauntlet match. Please follow the gang on Twitter at GlimmerGangPod for all the updates and information on the event. With that, we are Dan and Jim from Hobbies and Happiness. Glimmer on.